What's going on? And welcome to Black King's Free Game, baby. Yes, we are in here today, and we are with the president of the Defusky Association right here in South Carolina, right over there in Hilton Head. It's the Defusky, what is it?
Defusky Island Foundation,
Inc.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Irvin Simmons. Mr.
Yep.
Irvin Simmons, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. And how we start here at Black Kings is we're going to ask you, how was your week? And happy 4th of July, everyone that celebrates.
Great. I had a good week so far. Happy to be off from work today.
right?
And enjoying the day. Happy to be up here with you all.
Anything interesting happened this week, sir?
No.
No?
Nothing too exciting.
That's okay. Sometimes no news is good news.
Good news.
Yes.
Yes.
Of course, no news is good news, because if it's some drama, we don't want to hear it. King Boston, how was your week, sir?
My week thus far has been great. Just thankful for this 4th of July to have a brief break in the week. And tomorrow's Friday. It feels like the weekend.
It do, right?
Yeah.
It do.
But, we in the middle of the week. We had a bit of a break. So tomorrow we're going to hit the ground running. So that's about it. How about you, King?
Hey, look, well, my week it's been pretty good. Of course, you know my intern things that I got going on, but
Yeah.
to be honest, man, it's great because it was a lot of progression. And sometimes you might not be in your best situation when you get the most progression going. Y'all got to understand that, because it can be hard. It
Yes.
can be hard. But if you stay focused and mission-minded, it'll all be worth it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, my week was pretty good. But everyone, the reason we're here is because the Defusky Island Foundation. There are some things that you guys don't know, some history you probably missed. And as you know, a lot of American history has been hidden or just not talked about. So we're going to talk about some of it today. Their mission statement is to assist the native Defusky Islanders in whatever ways possible, but not limited to land preservation, cemetery beautification, housing renovation, and the coordination of annual Defusky Day celebration. Now, if y'all don't understand some of that breakdown, you're going to understand what Defusky Island is about, and you'll understand why that needs to be protected. Okay? I can give you an example before he gets into it. When you live in a neighborhood and you grew up and there's a lot of rich history there, then all of a sudden somebody with more money comes in, or if you're not in a good position in life, somebody comes in with that money and gives it to you, you're more willing to give it up. You understand? And the more that happens and the bigger houses, it starts forcing people out that can't keep up with that wave. Mm-hmm. So Mr. Irvin's going to break down some of that. Mr. Irvin, before we get into that, could you give us some of your earliest memories on Defusky?
Well, yes. Growing up, we had a kind of all-black community. Well, about 4 or 5 white people in the community, and they were the magistrate, the game warden, the postmaster, husband and wife, pretty much. And there was all of us for the elementary school and black church, and just close-knit family, grandparents. And back then we did a lot of farming, planted a lot of crops, a lot of sweet potato, corn, watermelon, those kind of things, and worked the river a lot. So we were pretty self-sufficient in those areas, except for everybody had bateaus, boats, so they would go to the savannah to get your main thing like rice, and we would walk by, and my wife sometimes wondered why I love Sam's Wholesale so much, because I kind of grew up buying a large quantity of things.
Okay.
So I kind of stuck to that.
So having to travel, how we say out here in the country, we about to head to the city. We're about to go to town.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So when they say they about to go to town, it's a whole different meaning.
Yeah.
They got to go by boat, by plane, somehow to get to town, and then it's not as convenient as we can just ride down the road.
Right.
Wow. So how was it? You said that you worked the river. What was it? Some of the things that y'all would do with the river?
Fishing, crabbing, shrimping. My daddy was a boat captain for a little ferry. So the thing about going to town was big. Saturdays we would go to Savannah to get haircuts. So in Savannah, in those days it was like the biggest city in the world to us.
Yes.
So we would go to Savannah, and that. In fact, I used to get so excited with going to Savannah. I'd wake up like 4 o'clock in the morning.
It's like
It was
Christmas.
time to go. It was like Christmas. And, we had a lot of relatives in Savannah. And that's where a lot of the people from the Fusky kind of end up settling, other than the one who went up to New York and different places.
Right.
So that was kind of our extended family. And then we would go, usually the summer, spend at least a week in Savannah. And the city kids, our cousins, they would come to the Fusky for a week, usually.
Okay.
Yes.
So where exactly is the Fusky Island, sir?
The Fusky is if the lower part of South Carolina in the Beaufort County area, if you know Hilton Head
Yes.
Island, we sit right between Hilton Head Island and Savannah Beach,
Okay.
Tybee. So we right in the middle, right, the whole east side of the Fusky is the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
Right in the Atlantic Ocean.
So there's no bridges or anything
There's
going
no bridges. I don't think, given the new population, I don't think it'll be one soon because some of those people are spillover from Hilton Head,
Okay.
and they saw the growth of Hilton Head, and they kind of want to keep it pretty private.
Right.
The people with money,
Yes. Yes.
and that what dictates a lot of things.
Do you know like approximately what's the population out there?
Yes. Let me start with the black population.
Okay.
Literally, the black population have dwindled to about, I want to say 17 or 18 full-time resident. From
Wow.
when I remember, it was several hundred. And my parents, they said it was about 600-700 at their time. And the white population probably somewhere around 300-400, but a lot of them are like second home, in and out, so it's
Right.
hard to put a hand on it.
Right.
But I would say at least 350 full time, and
Okay.
then kind of.
So some of those
Part-time.
people that have moved there, they're wealthy.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
quite a few
Okay.
are wealthy, and then you have a couple subdivision over there like Hague Point and Bloody Point and Melrose. And
So they
those-
actually have subdivisions.
yes.
Wow.
Now those area, the island comes out of the slave population. So,
Yes.
so there used to be those different plantation,
Okay.
but they are now, I guess you might call development or whatever. So there's a gated community.
Wow.
Gated community.
Well, a couple of them gated, some open, but moving toward
Being gated.
Yeah.
Now, how long is the Fusky?
You hear different things from different people, but roughly 3. We always say 3 by 5. Some say 3.5 by 4, but it's about 15 square miles, maybe a little more.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a small island.
Wow. But it's filled with a lot of people because when I went there, man, it was beautiful. I'm not going to lie. You got the beaches. It's almost like you got a private beach at home when you live on the Fusky because the beach is just like your backyard.
Okay.
Now I will. Can I be honest, Mr.
Yes.
Look, when I rode down there, yes, it seemed like people were friendly, but some of it would seem kind of condescending to me.
How long did it take when you were on the boat? Like,
Probably 25 minutes, 30 minutes from land.
and you left from where?
Right there in Hilton Head. It was
Okay.
like the tip. It was a little port there.
Okay.
Really, it wasn't even a port. It was just a boat dock where you were at, and you get your ticket from there, and you take the ferry over. It's about a 25 minute ride. It wasn't bad
Gotcha.
at all.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I did feel kind of like some condescending, like, yeah, ain't yours no more. Enjoy your day.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And it was just some people. It wasn't all. I'm not just saying that. Oh, you just feel that way. No, you know the difference. So, but it's a beautiful island. But I can see how somebody is enjoying it more than we are and our ancestors are, and things that should have been passed on to our children from generation to generation. Mr. Irvin, I saw a school there.
Yes.
Was that the only school on the island?
Which one you saw? You saw the one near the church?
Yes.
Okay, that's the elementary school we attended, which is now more like a museum.
Yeah.
And then the new elementary school is on the other end of the island, all the way on the north end.
Okay.
And that's an active elementary school.
Yes.
Okay.
And as I've said, the population has shifted. So when we were there, after 8th grade, you had to go off to high school. Bluffton, Savannah, Hilton Head. These kids now, they take a ferry. After 8th grade, they take a ferry to high school.
Oh, wow.
And I don't think there's any black in that population. Now, maybe one. I think it's biracial, maybe. So that's some of the changes. By the way, you came from Hilton Head side. You also could come from Savannah side.
Oh, okay.
You could take a boat, which is like Bull River, going toward Tybee. Excuse me.
You're fine.
Toward Tybee. And you could run that way. Either way. Yes.
So right out of Savannah is that close?
Yeah, it's that close. 20, 30 minutes.
What are like the Defusky Day? How many people do you normally get on Defusky Day?
And when is it?
It's usually the 4th Saturday of June. This year was kind of slow because we ran into a lot of boat trouble. The boat has gotten extremely expensive to charter, and the last minute there was a cancellation of a boat. We had to change dock, and just it was out a lot of glitches. But generally, it's usually 400 or 500 people, and a nice combination of people on the island, people out of Savannah, people come on ferry. We used to have 2 big boats. And the Fusky Day was started by a lady named Miss Frances E. Jones about 48 years ago to try to, it was like a homecoming initially to bring families back together and to raise some money so people could sell their goods and product and stuff. We try to keep the basic theme of that, although there's been a lot of shifts. And
is it shifts to counteract that day from happening? Is it a certain population of people that aren't wanting Defusky Day to happen, or is it just something that is?
It has shifted in many ways. One is the people who we have to book boats with have just gotten outrageously expensive. So it's hard to make a profit off it. And we had a lot of vendors used to come in, local vendors who used to be, before the population had changed a lot, and they would come in and sell their goods so they could make money. And that was kind of the theme to earn some money. And the lady who started it, Miss Frances E. Jones, was focused heavily on people raising money for their taxes, because the tax base have shifted. After these big houses start building, taxes just got up.
Is there like a mayor out there, or like
no? We fall still under Beaufort County.
Okay.
So there's no mayor. It's under the Beaufort County Council. City Council. But it rapidly started changing, and then with this thing of heirs property, you hear a lot about. That's a real complicated piece, and the more people died off, the more we have so much land and heirs property, and the kids, usually cousins, who didn't grow up on the island, they're in New York, somewhere Atlanta, they have a different feeling about the land. But they part owner now because the parents gone. So that's pretty complicated.
Okay. And Man, that heiress property and everything, people really take that for granted.
Yes.
And with it being the Fusky Island, I don't think that people really realize what they had.
Right.
They really didn't realize what they had. But with this happens here too. You'll get bigger houses in areas where people might not be making as much, and they'll tax them out of their position. And
Right.
the next thing you know, that's all you see in that area. Like those people never existed.
Yep.
And that's when we got to get to our government and start asking, hey, why wasn't this looked at? Why wasn't this impact? Why wasn't the impact fee imposed? Why wasn't there something to help ease that burden on the taxpayers that couldn't afford to build a $700,000 house
Yeah.
back in 1940? You get what I'm saying? Because that's when 1960s, 1970s people built their house and they just stayed there. But they didn't make no additions, and here you come put a $700,000 house, and now you adjust the rate just like, and it's all legal. They
Yeah.
make it seem so legal.
It's by design.
By design.
Yeah.
And then if you try to call them out about it, oh, you crazy. No, this is how we wrote it in the law.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how do we fight that? We fight that by getting involved and letting people know, hey, you're not just going to build here. You're going to have to pay some type of impact fee in order to offset other people's property.
Right.
And I know that's something that I know you guys are somewhat fighting for, but just with help from the community for the Fusky Day.
Yes.
Now, with the Fusky Day, some of the things that I saw, everyone, was they had basically a poet. Do y'all have any storytellers?
Yes, she didn't come this year, but we usually have a storyteller out of Hilton Head, or usually out of Hilton Head. Miss Coyne, she usually come tell a story, but I think she was tied up this year.
Okay.
Yes.
So I wanted to know if it was okay with you, but we want to do a special over at the Fusky Island. The
Okay.
Black Kings want to come over there and see if we can get some storytellers and give everybody enlightened on what to expect for next year for the Fusky Day. And we'll haul all the equipment over there and get it set up and have some of those people, maybe the storyteller, come out, some folks come out and tell exactly what the Fusky is about. Where is it that you need people to get more involved in with the Fusky Foundation?
Okay, we need more of our young people to tap into what we're trying to do, because prior to the pandemic, we had a lady who was writing grants, and we would get small grants, but we would help make contribution to the families over there who were struggling with taxes. We haven't been able to do that in the last 2-3 years, but that's one area, and trying to raise not only awareness but some funds to do some of the things, like assist people in different ways.
Now on the Fusky Day, as I know you said vendors. Are all the vendors, are they just local, or is there like a booth fee that people could come if they want to come to the Fusky and have a booth?
Yeah, they could come and have a booth, and we had always kept it real low, but this year was just a bad year. But generally, we have people who can come from other places advertising it. But the biggest struggle we've had recently is chartering boats.
Right.
Yeah, why are
Granted.
you having so much problem? What's the real problem there?
The price, in addition to the price, just went outrageous. Several of the merchants, they didn't want to come to Savannah, and that was our biggest population. So then we had to shift going out of Hilton Head, and most of those people had to come from Savannah. Then after we got to that, we had some cancellation where we had to shift down to the south end of Hilton Head, which they have to go through Sea-Pine guard gates, and every car would have to pay a fee to go in there. So it was
I sure did. Yep. It was, I think it's $9.
$9.
Okay.
Yes. So you came over on the big boat. I mean that boat.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So those are things. So early on, we got to try to tackle getting that piece under control, and really trying to get more young people involved. But maybe not right now, but a little later, if we could talk a little bit more about the land piece.
Yes.
Because is this okay time now?
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
The Ears property is complicated, but there's another piece. Many people say, well, if you got vacant land, why not put it in timberland? And they got this thing where if you got 5 acres or more, you could put it in timberland and pay a real low tax, next to no tax. And if you go sell it commercially, then you have to pay, I believe, 5-year rollback tax. But the problem with that is if you have smaller pieces, like the 1 acre, the 2 acre, 3 acre, then you don't qualify.
For the timberland.
For the timberland.
Gotcha.
For example, we had a 5 acre in the family that we got from a family member out of New York. She wanted to sell, so we bought it. And we put that in timberland. That tax was last year $25 in timberland. Somehow 1 acre, 2 acre, 3, they like $900 for 1 acre.
Wow.
So generally, we the one have the smaller pieces, so we pay that high pieces of that high taxes. And it's a group out of Charleston called the Center for the Preservation of Ears Property. We working with them on one tract of land for my grandparents to work through this ears. It's a complicated piece. Trying to.
What's the name of that again, sir? The Center for
Center for the Preservation of Ears Property. They're out of Charleston.
Okay.
And we're working with them to try to work with the family to cut through. And there's a lot to it. You know, you got to get death certificate and
Right.
you got to track all the ears and kind of see where people stand and trying to get the land resurveyed, because a lot of these land ain't been surveyed in a long time.
Right.
And really kind of educate families on the issue. Because, you know, there's some folks, even in my family, think because they're the only few living of the children, they own the land.
Yeah.
Not realizing that you got sibling who died, got children,
Right.
or spouse, children. So it's and trying to get them to come to, because with Ears property, you kind of need 100% agreement.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the key.
And the more people, the more difficult that is.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
every time one person dies, it gets much more complicated.
Right. Absolutely. That's true.
Yes. And these go back to our grandparents, a lot of it, you know.
Have some of them lost their property at the courthouse steps?
Oh, yeah. Quite a
Oh,
bit.
wow.
The sad thing is, often you don't hear about it until too late. Some of the families, you know, people who have gone away, especially up north, you know, it was a big migration up north, say in the 50s and so. And then you would have like a key taxpayer. That person died. Then everything
Right.
Oh.
shamble, and then nobody kind of communicate
Yep.
what happens, and then somebody buy the land off sale
For
next
little or
to
nothing.
Yes.
I think, like you said, sir, education is so key
Yes.
with just spreading the word through families. This is conversations that families need to have.
Yes.
You know, because when and not even, I mean, I'm sure it applies in Defusky as well, but I remember one day I was in St. Simon's Island, and I told you about this story, bro. Like, I was in a neighborhood that it said, it was like a subdivision, and it said starting in the 700s.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
whoa, okay. And I was just driving around, and it wasn't gated.
Right.
So I'm looking at addresses, and I went on the tax assessor's website because I wanted to see who's living here and how did they even get here. I was just curious, and I found myself studying wealth
Okay.
and how it's accumulated
Yes.
and how it's acquired
And passed on.
and passed on. And I'm pretty certain that this same thing has applied in Defusky, where people, predecessors, ancestors have life insurance, and they have a trust.
Mm-hmm.
And when they pass on, they pass it, to their grandchildren or children or whomever.
Mm-hmm.
And that even though this person is deceased, that wealth it's not even remaining the same, it's increasing.
Yes.
So now they can afford to purchase these plots of land. So, and I think that as a people, if we were more educated, not only on heirs property, but that even though that's a key
Yes.
component, but life insurance.
Life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And how to, like, look, grandma, they have this land, grandpa, they got this land, we need to keep this thing going.
Yes.
But a
And
lot of
find
times,
uses.
and find uses for it. I
Yes.
think that if we combined this education along with financial resource, that we would find ourselves in these situations less and less.
Yes.
But we have to. I think any component of the Defusky Day, we need to have some people out there doing like life insurance policies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
To make sure that we can perpetuate the cycle so that we can preserve this land
Exactly.
for future generations.
You're right.
That's
You're completely right, King. I want to give a shout out to our viewers right now. I want to give a shout out to Miss Sherry Reeves, Janice Baker, Lorraine Dupree, Patrick Underwood, Pamela Miller Bennett, Miss Melissa Thomas Baines, Tavares Garrett, and Chief Reed in the building.
Chief.
Look.
Happy
Hey, guys,
4th, y'all.
If y'all have any questions, don't forget to go ahead and type it in there so I can ask Mr. Irvin anything that you have about Defusky. We're really getting into the nitty gritty. King Boston just made some very good points about how we need to start getting more generational wealth. Because when we think about generational wealth, most people think about, oh, well, I'm going to get this money and then I'm going to pass it to my family and I'm just keep hustling. And next thing you know, we pass by the generational wealth that we could have earned slowly. Because I'm a victim of that too. I'll be like, yeah, when I get it. But I could have been getting it. Instead of doing something entertaining, I could have bought this. I could have put an investment here. I could have said, hey, why don't we get this land?
Yep.
Right? And even more and more, the more my family, the closer my brothers and I we get, I see the future businesses that we're going to do together. Because that's one thing that builds wealth is we're so separate.
Yes.
But if we were together and we trust each other and we know the character of the person, you know how much more we would succeed at?
Right.
If we were taught not to be greedy.
Yes.
It's a lot of greed. And it can be hard because if you never had anything, when you do get something, you start to, wait, that's mine now. I want more. Now, how come you getting more than what I'm getting, even though you putting in more effort and you doing more work, but I still want it. I put in my $5. And then next thing you know, there's a whole uproar about nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely.
Nothing.
But I think if we got in that mindset from birth, like even getting life insurance on babies when they're born.
Yeah.
Whole life. When you could get it for little or nothing.
Nothing.
By the time that they're college age,
Yes.
number one, they have not only learned about financial literacy, but now they can see it.
Correct.
It's tangible. I think that if we start that cycle,
Yes.
I mean, because look, we have car insurance. You could drive your whole life and not get into a car accident.
Yes.
It's
Right.
doable.
Yes.
We're all gonna die.
Yes.
So why would you have car insurance on your car, insurance on your phone, but not on your life?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that is. And we're talking about financial literacy also. We got some people in here that I believe Miss Sherry Reeves, y'all can holler at her. She does some financial literacy with the credit and teaching you things about how to get things right. You got a lot of people in here that are well versed in it. I know Janice Baker, King Boston is. I am. And probably Mr. Irvin if he's the president of the DeFusky
Right.
Island Foundation. But these are hard conversations or tough conversations we don't want to have because it's so morbid and dark. It's like, well, why we got to talk about death?
But it's real.
And,
Yes.
and one of the other things we have a number of, a couple of them in my family too, vacant houses that really need repair to be restored. And now with all of these people coming to the island, renting places to stay, those could be utilized, but the family don't have the money to really restore it. And one of the sad thing is that a few years ago, someone came in the neighborhood with an idea that they could work with family to do some of the things. Well, I know of a case that took place, but it didn't turn out well. He ended up signing some unlimited lease amount with the family, and basically he ended up with the property,
Right.
or at least the family don't have any control over it.
Right.
So even though it's a big need for that in restoring these places, because that could bring in some wealth or
Yeah,
some money
absolutely.
to at least counter those taxes, take that burden off the table. But you got to be so sure that it's done the right way.
And it starts at the top, because I've been in meetings where in different municipalities, if you don't have someone at the table that's looking out for your interests,
Yes.
they have programs called Clean and Lean, where, just like you said, there could be some heirs property that's not being maintained because people are wherever and they're just living their life. They can pass laws to where, we'll clean it, but then we're going to put a lien on that.
On that house.
Yeah.
And now we acquire this land for little or nothing.
Yep.
Yes.
So, and it's legal,
Legal.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing is we do not know the laws.
Yes.
And I'm determined, King Boston, that we're about to start learning the laws. There's going to be a lot of mad people and upset. And Mr. Urban, let me tell you this. There's people upset with this program now just because of the name. Now, I'm going to discuss this real quick. So the name of the show is Black Kings Free Game. I don't see anything offensive with that. It's putting black men at where they are in life. Kings, right? If it was black queens, I guess it would be less offensive. I could even see a show White Kings and nobody would be offended. But because it's Black Kings, that's how much we want to destroy something strong, because we feel like everything is offensive because we stand on it. And if we really stood on business, these things like this wouldn't even happen. If you were paying attention and listening to what people with educated minds have to tell you, instead of thinking, well, nah, they think they know it all. We're so geared toward not listening to one another, but we'll let the next person you don't even know tell you something and you run with it.
Yep.
That don't make sense. And we do this because sometimes bless my mother's heart, I would tell my mother something, right, and she would look at me like I'm crazy. Mark, really? 2 months later, she'll get it. But they told me about this and I'm trying it. Mama, I told you about this about 4 months ago. You looked at me like I was, well, Mark, that's just us. I'm always going to be her baby boy.
Yes.
She always see me as little Mark. And we got to start seeing people for who they are, not for what we just remember them being.
Absolutely.
Mitch was not in pest control at one point. Mitch had to learn it, right? Once he learned it, he perfected his craft. Do you know that normally when you perfect a craft in front of your local community, they don't even believe in you? You got to go outside to get it and then come back
Yep.
so they can know that it's real. We don't let our dollars circulate in our communities. They say that the Asian community, before it leaves that community, it circulates about 23 times. They say the Jewish community, I believe, is 18 times. The Hispanic community is, I believe, 11 times, and in the white community, 10 times. You know how fast our money circulates in our community before it leaves? 30 minutes.
Wow.
30 minutes.
Yep.
And we're talking about from when you get your check. They're basing it on when people get their check, they get paid. What's the first thing they do? Okay, besides your bills, you're about to spend money outside of your community. Isn't that a trip?
Yes.
You can come and you'll go to the wonderful Oriental markets, the Asian markets that they have, that you go and get your food, right? We don't have any markets ourselves that we can go to get our food and the money's still circulating in our community.
Yep.
None of it. Gas stations, they can put liquor stores there, right? Why is it if we're the brokers community, why are all these stores in our community? Why are the liquor stores there and they're still prospering? Why is that the hair stores still prospering? And it's not in our community. That's a trip, man. Our money circulates out before we can even touch it.
Yes.
So from where the Fusky Island standpoint is, I'm in full swing with you, Mr. Irvin. Well, President Irvin. Because some of these objectives need to be met. Now, the annual DeFusky Day is Saturday. Oh, is it going to be Saturday next year? It's going to be Saturday, but we don't have the date, do we?
You said the fourth
It's
Saturday,
usually
right?
fourth Saturday.
Fourth Saturday.
We just got a lot of things to work on
Okay.
soon.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So it normally is the fourth Saturday of June every year.
Yes.
And you got to get your tickets. You got to book your boat and your ferry ride, correct?
Yes.
Now, as far as updates on the vendors, we're going to get that information. We'll especially have the information when we go to DeFusky to have the event that we're going to have there with Black Kings. Mr. Urban, can you give me a story of what you remember when you were growing up on DeFusky about your life when you were there?
Well, one was, I guess you might have heard of Pat Conroy. They talk about a lot. The writer
Oh, okay.
that he wrote The Water's Wide. I was one of his students. He came to DeFusky when I was in sixth grade. Sixth grade. And he was the first end of integration on DeFusky, because we've all had all black teachers, all black students. And when the lady, Miss Frances Jones, who taught 39 years, that taught most of us and our parent, she was retiring. So when she retired, Pat Conroy came in, and he was different. He was this. So I guess there was kind of reaction on both sides, because that was the first we ever had a white teacher. And I'm not sure he was kind of young out of college, so he was dealing with us. And then, I don't know if you know the story, but right afterward, the Board of Education, I don't think it was a complete year, they terminated him because they claimed some violation of the policy. And then he wrote the book, The Water's Wide, based on us. They filmed it in Brunswick, but it was, our name would change in the book, but it was called The Water's Wide.
The Water's Wide.
And people talk about it a lot, but one of the things I always say is that I try to separate the author from the writer. I mean, the teacher from the writer. I thought he was a pretty good teacher. I thought the book was terrible. And I make that distinction because some of the things he said was just derogatory about families and us. But in the classroom, he was pretty excited because, he kind of believed in teaching outside
The box.
traditional, out the box, going to the beach, doing different things, music, whatnot.
So he was more of a hands-on teacher.
He was more hands-on. So now they have made this superhero out of Pat Conroy, which I didn't think it was all of that. But that's one of the things. And what he could have talked about in the book was how interconnected our family were and how strong we were in so many ways. Family was intact when you talk about,
Yes.
our father, our grandparents, teaching young boys to fish, hunt, to go to the city, all of that. We had that very much intact.
That tight knit.
That tight knit.
It's because drama sells.
Yeah.
Drama sells, especially when it comes down to our community. Did you happen to catch the BET Awards, King?
I didn't.
Did you catch the BET?
I saw part of it.
So even at the BET Awards, okay, some of the best performers have graced BET Awards stages. I mean, that's supposed to be a place of spectacle.
Right.
They've turned the BET Awards into like a propaganda. I would say almost like a feminist movement type thing, because the only reason I say that is because Usher was talking about his father.
Yes, I saw that piece.
And they muted it. They cut it off. Yeah,
Really?
he spoke for 8 minutes. You might have saw 30 seconds of it.
Wow.
Wow. I didn't realize this.
He spoke about his father, and there was a couple of other people that did also that was talking about the men, and that wasn't the point. They would cut it short, and I didn't like that, man, because here I am rooting for all our queens, and then if something's good being said about the kings, it's being trampled upon. I don't like that, man, because that means now I know what type of message you're really trying to send. And a lot of people didn't like the BET Awards. They thought it was spectacular, for the youth, but it gives us a position to see where we're headed, man.
Yeah.
Because BET Awards is supposed to be a respectable thing, especially when it's the R&B season and R&B had a good, year. You're going to see some performances. Will Smith did a good performance. It was a few that did a very good job. But overall, when you look at what they were actually doing, I'm like, man, come on now. We're supposed to be BET Awards. Y'all trying to propagandize us to go a certain way and all that stuff. Look, say that for your commercials.
Yeah.
Here, I want to see our excellence and our unity and our structure and where we're headed.
But who owns BET though?
A lot of people like to think that BET is, predominantly black owned, but the overall itself is not owned by black. It's run by black, but the owners, they get the last say on everything.
Right.
And we know how entertainment world is. Everything is there for a reason.
Yes.
It's a message being brought.
Absolutely.
And the message hasn't been about unity, y'all. I speak about that every show, y'all. I know that. But we got to have unity. We've got to have unity. Because unity would help Defusky Island become really, really good. It can save and help a lot of people. But we need to know what to do, who to connect to, and how to get it done. Does that make sense?
Sir.
Now, with the donations, what are some of the ways? I'm gonna give you guys some of the ways. Let's see here. If you want some contact information, I'm about to give your number out. You ready?
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Irvin said, "Hey, don't call my phone after 9 o'clock now. You hear me? Don't call my phone after 9." But President Irvin Simmons, you can contact him at 912-660-0500. You can also email him at irvinsimmons@bellsouth.net, or any other members. I guess you would just include their name up front.
Yes.
Okay. So DefuskyIslandFoundation.com. You can get all your information there also. And if you want to mail them, it's P.O. Box 592 Port Royal, South Carolina 29935. Now later on, we're going to have some more updates on how you can donate to Defusky Island, and also when they make their decision on the Defusky Island for 2025, you'll get any updated information there also. But you guys got to stay tuned for the Defusky Day with the Black Kings when we go out there and show you that beautiful island. Mr. Irvin, we always like to get to a show to where we give a message to the people. Now, what is something that you would like to say to our kings and queens out there to inspire them to keep pushing forward and to never give up?
We need each other's support, and just growing up on DeFusky, it taught me that while we had to deal with a lot of odds, we had the strength of family and the church, but the strength of our family to sustain us. So I think, again, leaning back on strengthen our family,
yes, sir.
and unity, and building good relationship and trust and honesty with one another, we can make it, and that we should keep those things up front.
Yes, we have to. Now, King Boston, I know that you've had a wonderful week, especially getting ready for this basketball game. And guys, let me remind you, movie night, 8:30 p.m., movie night at Johnny Frazier Park. Don't forget to bring your families out to movie night at Johnny Frazier Park. Chris Reed, Chief Reed, told me I needed to get that out there. I did put the DeFuskyIslandFoundation.com in the comments, so if you guys would love to donate or get involved, please do. But King Boss, I know you had a good week. You got this basketball game coming up July 20th.
Yes, July 20th. It's going to be a big day at Liberty County High School. We're having a basketball game in support of the Boys and Girls Club of Liberty County. We're going to have elected officials playing against some of the youth in the county, and I think that's going to be just a great turnout. I could already see it.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be a testament of just the level of community involvement and engagement, and the power that we can all exhibit when we are unified as one.
You better preach, preacher.
And just to piggyback off of what President Simmons said about unity and family and the strength of it, I feel like as a people, as a family, we need to start back having family meetings. And technology has really made it to where it's really no excuse. We could FaceTime, we could Zoom, we could text, we could. It's so many ways that we could keep in contact, to whereas we can pray together even if we're not in the same state. We could discuss important topics and anything that's going on within our family, so that when we just need to, when the inevitable comes, I'll put it like that. When the inevitable comes and our elders pass on, there's some lineage. There's we know what we need to do. And it ties in, again, like I said earlier, to just the life insurance. I think that we all need to have those conversations, because I'll never forget, when my father passed away suddenly, and I received his belongings. It was a bag that had a bunch of papers in it. And the first thing that I pulled out was his job was trying to get him to buy life insurance. $300,000, $25 a month.
Wow.
And he never filled it out. And I just think of, man, like, what could we have done with that? You know what I mean? Because, again, we have a born day, we have a death day.
Yes.
Only thing we control is that dash in the middle.
Yes.
And people, we have to not only prepare for the inevitable, but also make sure that our young people are prepared, so that the land or anything that's just precious to us that we've worked so hard to achieve isn't in vain.
Yes.
And we need to have those conversations,
Yes.
like now, like today. And I'm gonna continue to preach that gospel.
Yeah, you're correct in saying that, King. You're correct in saying that. I want to give shots out before we leave to Jaquita West, Purnell, Tony Neal, Cedric Proctor, La Davina Cabrera, Bridget Kelly, Shirley C. Frazier. Hey, what's going on? Miss Kim McLaughlin, Tip Beach, Brittany Edmond. We appreciate you guys, everybody that's watching, because I had to do the list earlier. But understand what they're saying here. Unity and involvement of family will equal generational wealth. Unity, cooperation of family equals generational wealth. Because when you could come together and you can have a conversation about logical things that are going to happen, and you can say, well, this is the best way we need to go about it. This is how we can maneuver and make our families better. We need to actually sit down and have those conversations, y'all. Because other people are.
Yes.
I mean, I've heard some people in other cultures even say, yeah, no, when I go, hey, you guys can have all this, and then I put an insurance policy, because they'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Us, hey, we're like, well, you better not give Bernard nothing. Bernard don't do nothing no way. What, man? You see people giving their kids, and their kids be cussing them out their whole life, and then they say, well, he's still my boy. And next thing you know, the boy that you were like, man, he rude, he obnoxious. Now he driving by you in a Lamborghini, and you be like, how this cat?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they know when they leave, they want to leave something. It don't matter if it was a spoiled brat. That's their blood.
Yeah. That's their legacy.
That's their legacy. And they just pray that they might have a child that's better than them in the generations. Of like, okay, he'll restart it right.
Yes.
But us, no, not us, man.
Yes.
We got to do better.
We got to do better. We got to do better. You guys, for the Defusky, the annual membership for Defusky, join today. It is $50 and it's good through December. Also, the monthly meetings are every Saturday, 6 p.m. via conference call or at Palmetto Electric Room in Hardyville, South Carolina. Please make sure that we have your contact information in case of any changes. Once again, contact President Irvin Simmons at 912-660-0500 or contact him email at irvinsimmons@bellsouth.net. Guys, I enjoyed learning the history. There's so much more history to learn. Y'all just ain't. Wait till we go over there. We're going to show y'all something.
Oh, yeah.
But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thank you for coming through.
It's my pleasure.
And,
Glad to be here.
We appreciate all the information that you've given and all that you're doing.
Thank you.
Because I know it can get rough sometimes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I could only imagine.
Yeah, right. Right. So it takes a lot of courage, and whoever's standing with you, we give shots out to them also. Miss Simmons.
Yes.
Yes. We got to give shout out to the Queen.
Absolutely.
Yes. A wonderful person.
Yes.
Yeah, we met already. She done told me some words of wisdom and got on to me. We just enjoyed it. So to all the kings and queens out there, we will see you next time on Black Kings Free Game. It is July 4th. Happy 4th, everyone.
Happy 4th.
Black
Happy
Kings, and we're round.